I'm Jasmine, and today we're kicking off my Living Single Sundays, where pretty much we are going to be watching the show Living Single, talking about it, and just relating it to everyday life, as well as sharing what we would do in the situations that the characters went through on the show. So a little background story about Living Single for me. I somewhat grew up watching Living Single to a certain degree. I will say I was a latchkey kid, and I was definitely a person that preferred cartoons over any type of sitcom drama show. And I remember during Latchkey Living Single used to come on like at 5 o'clock, I think, or 5:30 on WB. And I remember I wanted to watch cartoons, bro. I didn't want to watch no sitcoms because I knew I was going to have to deal with that at home. I can't remember what her name was, but the Latchkey lady, she was like, alright, y'all done watching the cartoons, Yu-Gi-Oh, WB Kids, we about to watch Living Single. And I'm like, girl. So I kind of had a love-hate relationship with Living Single initially. However, time passed, I kind of got into watching it, and during the pandemic, like 2020, I want to say Hulu put it on their streaming platform, so I was like, okay, I'm gonna watch all the way through. So far, I've ended up binge watching it about 10 times. Since Hulu put it on their platform. So this time I figured, why not talk about what happened in the show with you guys that love the show or are interested in watching the show, and yeah, we can discuss it. So without further ado, let's jump into Living Single Season 1, Episode 1. So one of the things I absolutely loved about Living Single was how Khadijah had her own magazine. When I tell you, I was always a girl that loved magazines. When it came to black magazines, I used to read Word Up. I was like a Word Up fanatic. Whenever my mom would take me to Barnes & Noble, we would go to the magazine section and I would always grab Word Up. Sometimes she would let me get it and then other times she wouldn't, but I remember I specifically had a big poster of Nelly and a big poster of Chingy in my bedroom. And yeah, I was obsessed with them. I almost want to do a couple of videos of like my childhood crushes, but I don't need y'all judging me because I know some of them y'all gonna be like, girl, what is your problem? Let me know in the comments down below if y'all like that. But anyways, Word Up was a magazine I used to read. I know they had Ebony that I used to read, Essence, Jet, and those were like the 4 magazines that I remember that was black based. And then there was also Hype Hair that I used to love reading. Honestly, just looking at the pictures of all the hairstyles. But I feel like my mom didn't want me to have that magazine specifically because the hairstyles potentially would have been too grown. I think they had maybe like a couple pages for a kids section, but I know I was looking at the grown pictures of their hair because they were so cute. But anyways, in the first episode, Regine comes to Khadijah's office to brag about her new man. Which, girl, what's the point? You bragging about this man you just started talking to, bragging about money that he has, not you. Now, it'd be different if you was bragging and y'all was married, you know what I'm saying? But one thing about me, I can't stand the bragging at I'm not gonna cuss. I cannot stand somebody who brags though. I feel like that's something that really rubs me the wrong way because I'm like, the more you talk about it, the quick it's gonna get taken away from you. But she mentioned how they were basically in a limo and the guy and her was drinking champagne from her shoe, which is crazy because, girl, fungus, stinking feet. Regardless if you wash them, I don't want to be drinking no juice, no champagne out of my shoe. Would y'all drink champagne out of y'all shoe or think that's sexy? Because to me, it's not given. So you gonna drink out of that shoe and then proceed to want to kiss me, to touch me? Don't judge me if that's y'all gig, that's what y'all do, but that's not me. That's not me. So Khadijah begins to drop knowledge on Regine. Girl, you shouldn't just be focused on a man's wallet if you want a long-term relationship. That's why you keep getting into these situations. And Regine basically looking at her like, oh, you a hater, toodles. So on the other note, we end up being introduced to Sinclair, and Sinclair fumbled an interview for Flavor magazine that Khadijah owns with Maya Angelou. Now, over the course of the show, if you guys haven't seen it, you will realize that Sinclair, in my opinion, was probably one of the main reasons why Flavor never reached its potential at all. I feel like within seeing Sinclair's interaction with Khadijah and how she handled business in that field, it just shows you some reasons why you potentially should not hire family. Just having Maya Angelou at that time in a magazine like that would have gotten Khadijah a whole bunch of like publicity, a lot of play where people are like, wow, you have someone very reputable, somebody that a lot of people look up to and love in your magazine, which would have motivated more viewers, more customers, and Sinclair fumbled it. I probably would have fired her. You supposed to do one little thing and you don't even know how to answer the phones or contact people. So we end up seeing Overton and Kyle, who are discussing their different tactics for dating. Overton is more so a person who takes his time with dating, however, it may potentially take too long, where they'll be seen as being friend zone because he took too long to pursue somebody. Then you have Kyle, who's more so a predator prey type of guy, where he's like, I'm just gonna pounce. His focus of relationships were more, in my opinion, physical based, not really something that was based for something that's long term, as Overton's concepts of relationships were more wholesome and building towards something that would last. So Max walks in and you end up realizing that she's the successful lawyer, which it was something about having black female lawyers on TV that really made, it gave you something to look up to, just like how Claire Huxtable, she was a lawyer as well. It was something that black women could aspire to be, and I really liked that they did stuff like that when it came to Max. Even though she might not have had it together relationship wise, it was nice to see a black woman really standing on her own feet, being independent, getting her own. So Raging ends up introducing this man named Brad, who is the guy that, she was bragging about with the money and the limo. And I'm not gonna lie, if y'all seen the first episode, to me, I thought it was really weird the way Khadijah was like pressing up on him and stuff like that. Girl, this is your friend, and why are you pressing up on her man like that, like touching him and stuff? It was very inappropriate, and I'm not gonna hold you. If that was me, I would have had to draw the line. Like, girl, what are you doing? This is weird behavior. Why are you pressing up on somebody that you know I'm talking to? Even if it was supposed to be funny, to me, I would have took that as you op. You definitely a op and you trying to come on to my man. Like, what are you doing? So while Sinclair is at her job doing her work, a woman comes in and you end up finding out that that is Brad's wife. And she wants to promote a advertisement in the Flavor magazine for her and her husband's business, which surprises Sinclair and Khadijah. So I actually did a video about meeting a guy on Tinder and then finding out that they were married. If y'all want, y'all could check that video out. But how would y'all feel and what would y'all do if y'all found out that one of your friends that you cared about was dating a married man? Would you tell them? How do you think that they would take it? Have you ever been in a situation like that? Let me know in the comments down below. Also, let me know, do you guys believe in people dating people who are married? They say that they're separated and stuff like that. Let me know, because personally, I don't. I'm a strong believer of if somebody really wants to get away from somebody, they will. Just off a lot of scenarios that I've seen, I feel like a lot of times guys don't necessarily want to go through the whole divorce process because it's a lot, and just the fact that they know they're going to have to pay alimony and stuff like that, but they don't want to be honest about what they doing and the moves they trying to make, so they rather have their wife but also be cheating on them and have somebody else, and they'll make false promises that they're gonna let their wife go, and in reality they just playing different women. So Max and Khadijah and Sinclair are contemplating telling Regine the truth about Brad, and they're gonna tell her, but they talk about the fact that normally if you tell a friend about the person they're dating, like cheating or being married, I would say, they said the friend will resent them for knowing first about the fact that the guy is married. They'll accuse their friends of trying to steal them, or they'll tell them that they're making up the situation because they're jealous. Which, sometimes I do think that is true. Sometimes people will value someone, like a friend telling them that the person is cheating on them or married. However, I will say it would be good to have proof. For example, have some type of photo evidence. Because then that way, if you had a photo evidence, it's like, nah, he definitely was out here and here's the proof, girl. This him. This him doing this, or this him saying this stuff. So they end up telling Regine, and Max and the girls, they break down like, girl, that man married. So Regine proceeds to be like, why wouldn't he tell me he's married? Be so for real. What do you mean, why would he tell you? It's stuff like that where you really have to think about how people really think about their best interest. They're not trying to hear or think about whatever you got going on. They're not trying to be considerate of you. They're trying to use you, get whatever they can from you, leave you out in the dark about what's actually going on. They trying to lead you on just so they could get what they want. And it's really unfortunate, but it is a lot of people out here that are like that. I also have to mention, because I do believe if you want to find out if somebody is cheating on you nowadays, I want to say you could just Google. If you actually have their full name, you can Google to see if they're married or actually separated, because they had that information out there, specifically if you know what city they are from. I want to say, let me know in the comments down below, because I feel like you can if you know their name and then the city they're in or from. So Max proceeds to go down this list to share with Regine, like, are these things that this guy does? Because it could tell you if he's actually married or not, or if he's like hiding you. So Max asks her, does he only pay in cash? Regine is like, yeah, he does, because for whatever reason she said, which credit cards are the way to go or like having a bank card that has certain benefits, because you do get cash back in certain deals sometimes. Paying in cash is crazy. Yeah, some people want to save money and stuff, but yeah, I would agree that if somebody pays in cash all the time, like you've never seen them pay with the card ever, nah, that's a little suspect. Max also mentioned, does he leave room to make calls? If a guy always leaves the room to make calls, sometimes people be like, oh, they don't want to be rude. But sometimes people, they be having little secret lives on the side and they just don't want you to be knowing what's going on. And I mean, if you're that curious, you can always listen or check in to see, okay, who are they talking to and stuff like that. There's that whole thing about people reaching for people's phones and the person like snatching their phone away. I feel like if someone is very protective of their phone, something could potentially be going on. But that's just me. That's just from my personal experience. Although I'm not a big believer of going through people's phones. I feel like if you feel the need to go through somebody's phone, you probably shouldn't be with them. And if somebody's trying to wrestle you or fight you over their phone, you shouldn't be with them either. Because again, why can't you just be honest and tell me that you out here? And of course, people are not going to do that because they want to use and abuse and get over on you or have multiple things going on. But it's like, do you respect our relationship? Do you respect me at all? And that is a topic that you do have to have. Some people don't. Some people just are selfish. And then the last question Max asked when it comes to, is this guy married or like cheating? She said, does he have an excuse for why you can't call him at home? If a guy does not want you to hit him up on his phone to contact you or to like check in to see what's going on, or if they feel like they're not comfortable with you contacting them, or they always got to be the one to call you, or if it's always at late hours and stuff like that, girl, absolutely not. So Brad, the guy, ends up showing up at the house. And the girls are listening on the other side of the door while Brad is basically talking to her. Regine's like, you're married. And he goes like, baby, I was gonna tell you. No, you wasn't. He proceeds to be like, I need some time to explain. Can we go somewhere and talk? For what? We are literally in my house. We can talk right here. We don't have to leave out the house. We can literally have this discussion right here. Why do you feel the need that you need to leave out the house to have this conversation? Just talk to me right here. What's the problem? And Regine did. She left out the house and went with him. So Regine proceeds to come back and she tells them, yeah, he's separated. He plans on leaving his wife. And Khadijah and the other people, they get kind of frustrated with her because they're like, girl, you looking stupid. He lying to you, and she didn't want to hear what they had to say. If a man was really leaving his wife, he would not have you wondering, would not have you waiting. There would be no confusion about what was going on. It would just be cut and dry, as simple as it is, you know? But Regine did. She believed exactly what he was talking about. So while Regine was waiting for him, he basically stood her up, and I guess she never heard from him again. My theory about the reason why he didn't contact her and didn't pick her up was the fact that he realized, oh crap, one, I got business with this magazine. My wife knows the connection. Regine could easily contact my wife. Which is true. She really could have contacted his wife. And he probably wanted to cover his tracks. He probably was doing some maintenance at home. So in the event that Regine did contact, he could probably look at the situation like, oh, she's just being crazy, you know? Why do y'all not think that Brad contacted her after Regine made it apparent to him that she knew that he was married? Let me know in the comments down below. So Regine is upset, but she ends up talking about how she's about to get over this situation. And she says that she's probably gonna get her some new hair. And one thing that's so funny when it comes to breakups is a lot of women do tend to get new hairstyles. I know one of the things that I used to do whenever I would go through a breakup is I would always get a new wig. I would always get a new wig, or I would do my hair, get my hair done. And I would spruce myself up a bit to not only feel better about myself, but I'm not gonna lie, sometimes you want to just lay the setting for if you end up meeting somebody else potentially in the future. And sometimes hair can really boost your confidence and just make you feel better. But it should be studied why women do a hair transformation after they go through a breakup. Alright, so now it's time for you guys to chime in. Would you date a married man, or have you date a married man or woman? How would you feel if your friends told you that somebody was cheating on you or was married? Would you believe them? Would you defend the person that you're talking to? If the guy that you found out was married told you they were getting separated, or if the woman said that they were getting separated, would you still continue to talk to them and wait for it to see how long they would take for them to get separated, or would you cut them off? Let me know in the comments down below. But make sure you guys check out my other Living Single reactions where we continue talking about the show. I'll leave a whole playlist linked in the cards as well as in the description box. But I will see you guys again soon, so stay blessed, stay positive. Bye.